Hi and welcome to How to Use CAD. I'm Tom Norris, and for today's tutorial we're going to have a good look at the Modify tools. So sit back and just watch how the use of the trim, shrink, meet, fillet, chamfer and split tools will make your life so much easier as you advance your skills with CAD design. Right, let's get to work. When I was learning TurboCAD quite a few years back, and incidentally the basic architectural drawing tools haven't changed that much, but I remember I found the modified tools quite quickly, but it's not the full. I didn't explore the full range, and I got caught up in fact on well, I might as well show you, and it served me really well, and that was basically the use of a square or a circle to cut stuff, edit stuff, for chopping. So for example, if I look here on this is I'm going to be using a rectangle to cut a section out of a line. So I didn't know how to cut lines, and the rectangle was doing the rectangle thing was really simple. So let me show you how it works in case you don't know. So up here, modify, object trim, select the trimming tool, and then select the bit I want to get rid of. And there you go. Then deselect. And that was how I made holes. I used to draw full lines and then make holes in them. So for example, if I was putting a door in a wall, I'd come up with a square that was the appropriate size for the door, and then go to modify, object trim, select the rectangle or square, and that was how I was able to cut holes for doorways, etc. in walls. And oddly enough, I've been using that for quite a few years, until I finally got around to exploring the other types of tools within the Modify tool group. And I think it's very easy to find one and you think, oh, that's great, and then we don't actually go back to the other one for a while and go back and explore the other ones. And this tutorial really, what I'm telling you, is to explore the tools, because it's a nuisance to have to learn new stuff, but if you bear with it and kind of keep moving and keep exploring the new tools, even though you think you don't need them, that information will come in handy later on. So here now, for example, you got a rectangle. I'm going to chop a hole in it, or let me just take out a corner. Again, you see how simple the Modify tool is. Take out a piece of the triangle. Same would apply if I wanted to take out, and I didn't know how to do a part of a circle. I'd use the Modify tool. So it really is a no-brainer. And then later on I discovered that in fact I didn't need to be drawing squares if I just overlap a few items, and I could use the Modify like this. So now what's going to happen is if I click anything within this circle, it's going to be chopped. So the end result is you end up with that. Now if I click on Modify and object trim, but this time I'll pick what's left of the rectangle, and you see what's happening. So that's your Modify tool. Anyway, that's what I was using, and I was using it for quite some time before I started to explore all the other ones and all the other tools within the group. So now let's go to the basic trim tool here. I'm going to just delete that so we can work our way through. Try to keep the tutorial as short as I can. And incidentally, I'm doing this. I'm doing this tutorial within TurboCAD Deluxe, and but it's much the same in CAD. And I think once you learn the basic principle, you can apply it in any CAD package, because there's a huge overlap in the tools. So. Okay, so let's look at trim tool. Here we have two lines just crossing over each other. Cross them over again. So let's see. Now, if I was doing a wall or something, I could go like so and using the snap tools, and that would be a reasonable way of doing it. Incidentally, I've put the trim tools up here. Let me just take them out here so you can have a look at them. So if as I overlay, I'll put the mouse over, you can see that the titles come up. So if I use object trim, yeah. So now what I do is I select here and select the bit I want to get rid of. There you go. But as I've said many times, with the CAD tools, there's more than one way to do almost anything. So for example, if I was to take the object trim, click on a line and then click on the bit that I want to remove. So assuming I want to remove this bit, that's exactly what I click. What I didn't like about this tool as such was that in order to do it again, say I want to get rid of this little bit so that I end up with a corner. In order to get rid of that, I have to deselect, either use the arrow select here, or I could use it from the pop-up. And so now I've got to select again, and this time I will select I'll select the vertical, and then this is what you get. That's quite useful because you can do that over and over. Click anything you want. Excellent way of chopping lines, etc. So let me deselect again. Take the object trim tool. Click on this one and this bar. Take off the bit I want to get rid of. So these are trim tools, and let me deselect again. Really quite useful. So if you're familiar with my tutorials, you'll know that I generally go over the same thing over and over to try and make sure that you've fully grasped the concept. So one more time here. We've got the object trim. Before I'm using these tools here, let me show you something else. I'm actually using these tools within the pop-up as well. Now for those of you that don't know how to do that, to add the modify tools to a pop-up menu so that you just right click and they're at hand, let me show you again, quick show. Just right click, go to pop-up toolbars and click modify here. And as you can see, I've got line and modify. So when I'm back on the drawing the model space, you can see I've got the modify tools here and I've got the line tools. So that's how I do that. But like I say, you can go over here, you can add a bunch of tools to the top here. Let me show you how to do that. So customize, we got pop-up toolbars, but we have add modify and close, and the modify is here. And again, you want to add it to the bar, you want to add it to over here. It's up to you. The main thing is feel comfortable about where you want it. So for now, let's just keep it here. Right, last time we're going to just do an object trim again. So I'm selecting the modify the object trim tool, clicking on the horizontal bar to get rid of this little vertical piece, and I click on it, it's gone. Now as I've said, it won't do two in a row, so you have to deselect either by selecting over here on the left, or in my case right click, selecting. Now got to select again the object trim, click on the vertical, remove the bit of horizontal. That's it. It's okay. So that's an introduction to the object trim. Hopefully you grasp, but what you must do is practice it. So you know, get a blank page out, put a few lines together and see where you get on with it, but practice it. If you practice it, it'll become part of your selection of tools when you're doing projects. Okay, so now we have shrink extend. I haven't got a clue what that means. Maybe we're all the same. Actually I do, so let me see if I can give you an intro. So here we have two lines intersecting again. So one of the conventional ways of dealing with something like that would be to just use snaps. So if we use snaps, we could turn it into a corner. So that would be one way. But with shrink extend, which is this little one here, shrink extend, you click on one bar and then there you go. So let me do that again now so you try to work out what happened. I'm probably going to do it different. So click on one bar. This is the one that's going to be chopped, and there you go. You want to chop it again, click on one bar, and this time I'm going to chop this bit. There you go. So again, this time I want to chop this one, so I'm going to, there you go. If I want to do it again, you see, so we got the same thing. It's just another tool. So let me just do it again, because sometimes it's hard to get your head around it, and you have to keep, well, what I encourage everyone to do is to actually you just try it for yourself. So here we are. It's shrink extend. So let's assume we've got lines all over the place and you're just in a bit of a hurry. So you click on the shrink extend line, and you just click on it once and then click the vertical. So again, we're going to do it in reverse. Click on the vertical, and what's going to happen here now? It's going to, which piece is it going to chop? As you can see, it's going to chop that little piece. Right. That's all I can say. Just practice with that tool and see how it works out for you. Because again, it's all about bringing the tools to your attention so that you can actually work out what it is they do. Now the multi-shrink is basically the same thing. It's this little icon here. So multi-shrink tool, right. So let's kind of bring this up a bit so we can see it a bit better. Now the multi-shrink tool is a way of, say, you see all these lines, they're intersecting the tall one. So if I want to trim them, well, there you go. So we'll just do one. There you go. This one you can do two in a row. Quite useful. So we want to do that again. Let me just reverse it again. Okay, so multi-trim. Select, you want to trim all these lines that are overhanging, so just select the line. Select another one. Let me go in a bit. I'm going blind today. And as you can see, they're all trimming back to the vertical line. Okay, now that's multi-shrink, and you can in fact do it one other way, which is you can go like so. Oh, multi-shrink, I believe you can. There you go. Now this way. So you see I've selected three, but let me just go back a little there. Just swing them over. So multi-shrink. Multi-shrink will actually cut more than one at the same time. Again, hovering over multi-shrink. Selected all four. There you go. It's not rocket science. Try it one more time. Select all four. Select the vertical. You've cut back. This one wasn't sticking out enough. Right, again, what can I say except let me deselect. Right. Now, Meet To. Well, Meet To line, I love this one. I really do love this one. I'm going to get straight into it. So the Meet To line is Meet To lines there. just click on the lines you want to meet. Look at that, isn't that beautiful? I reckon it's one of the best tools we're ever gonna use. Meet two lines. Oops, that one now I did is slightly wrong, because you want to select it on the inside, like so. And I'm going to get myself a triangle here if I continue to select on the inside. There you go. That's the meet two. So meet two lines, they'll jump, or it'll get rid of the external bits, and if it's too short, it'll add on a bit. So again, meet two lines. This is definitely a tool you want to have in your brain and to be able to use it, because this one will in fact save loads of time. So the thing is, even if you only learn one tool that you start to use after this little tutorial, you're going to save hours and hours and hours as you progress. So one little tool, just that 10 seconds or a couple of minutes that I might spend laboring over a tool, once you learn it, you can't unlearn it. Right, so now let's go to the next one. Fillet 2D. The Fillet 2D would be this one here, that icon. So yeah, let me just show you rather than talk. So there you go. Now you've got it. It's joined the two and given you a radius. Now you can change the radius down here in the inspector bar. Now let me do it again. So there you go, that's your radius. Radius. So again, change the radius here. You can do it over and over. Let's see it on a square again. Radius, let's change this to 500. You got a bigger radius. Beautiful tool, absolutely beautiful tool. This one, I think I played with it before. That's why we got a little curve on it. But yeah, I don't need to demo. That too much. When it comes to the next tool, being Chamfer. Well, getting near the end now. When it comes to Chamfer, well, that's even more interesting. But on this one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select it from the drop-down menu, because there's a difference. Now, if you see, it says distance and angle, length and angle. So we're going to go for distance and distance. And as you can see in the inspector bar, I've got 300 in each one, so that you understand it. Right, now this time, instead of a curve, which was a radius, we're going to do a chamfer. Now that's interesting. I wasn't expecting that, but because the line is going up, it's going external rather than internal. Right, and we'll have to learn that and remember that. So, you getting it? Do it again. Chamfer. Okay. I think I've clicked badly there. Okay. Doing something wrong there. I'm not quite sure what that is. You can tell this is live. So we're doing chamfer, length. There we go. Okay, so you got the idea. Again, doesn't matter, we go in or out. You understand what it is. Right, chamfer. Right, so let's get rid of the bits and pieces here. And the last tool we're going to discuss here is split. Interesting. I thought I'd actually forgotten all about this one. So the icon for the split is here, split entity. So let me just show you how it works. Split entity, just put a little mark on it. Any change? Well, there is. I've cut it in half. What about here? Split. So you decide where you want to split it. You want to split it there. Split it here. Click off. You see I've cut it out. So splitting is a little bit like modifying, you know, the first one I've shown you where I was using the square or the rectangle to modify, as in to cut an opening in doors and walls. Well, this is something a bit similar. Again, let's just do a little bit more of it. So useful to split a line. Take off auto for a moment. There you go. So yeah, split tool. I don't have great use for it myself, but you may well do, depending on the kind of work you do and the kind of drawings you do. Right, so today what have we been looking at? We've been looking at the trim tool, modify, object trim, looked at the split and the shrink, and then the multi-shrink, and then my favorite tool of the day happened. I'm sorry, I really have to say that, but Me Too lines. Me Too lines really gives me a great buzz. The Fillet 2D, which is you know, adding curves to the corners, change the size within the inspector bar, and chamfer, distance and angle. So when you want to do an angle on the corner, you put the size in and then you select the angle. If you want to put angle and angle, or angle and size, or size and size, any way you want it. Right, that's about it. Again, the modify tools, put them on your right click, put them on your pop-up, right click. I think it's essential tools for drawings, and I'd keep them there for a while if I was you, until you certainly it'll get you to use them a little bit more. Another little group of tools I put in here is the select tool, because I don't particularly want to keep reaching up to the left all the time. Reaching up, so it's much neater. It's much neater to go here than it is to go the whole way up. Right, put this one up here and leave it there, so I'm spoiled for choice. Right, I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. I hope you're learning stuff, and make good use of these tools. Practice, practice, practice. Brilliant. Thanks for watching. See you in the next tutorial.